All right. Thank you all for being here tonight for the Mixtape Music Series info session. Here's our quick agenda for this evening. I'm going to introduce you to the team Medium that's a part of the Cash team. I'm going to introduce what the Creative Exchange Fund is, and we're going to walk through virtually some of the spaces that are available at the Medium. And then we'll kind of unpack a little bit more of what the Mixtape Music Series is. I'll go over some of the application process, selection criteria, and then some additional support and resources that are available. Here is our beautiful team. I am Amber Paradin. I'm the artist and community manager. John Wayne Farr, Thalia Madewell, Cynthia Tran, and Evan Alvarado are all on this Zoom tonight, and they are your team Medium. And the Medium's mission is that we are a radically inclusive venue for creative expression that offers affordable and equitable access to space for artists of all backgrounds. And this is something we live and die by every day at the Medium in every conversation and interaction that we have with the community. Okay, the Creative Exchange Fund. At Cash, we understand that the creative process takes time, money, and affordable space to work. The Creative Exchange Fund invests in creatives by providing funding, professional development, and free space to take creative risks. The Creative Exchange Fund is a programming initiative designed in partnership with the Tyson Family Foundation to bring life, art, and community experiences to the Medium. And something I want to point out too, that all of our team members that I just introduced you to, each of us represents and comes from our own artistic practice and background. So we have musicians, photographers, visual artists, and dance and movement represented. So when we say that Cash understands the creative process, we really fully understand that as practicing artists ourselves. The Creative Exchange Fund has 5 unique opportunities, 5 funding opportunities, and each of those were created to support live performances, community events, artists in residence, and innovative exhibitions. Where is the Medium? The Medium is in downtown Springdale at 214 South Main Street. This is an image of our building. It is 25,000 square feet. We have a theater, an auditorium, a gallery. We have classrooms. We have a really cool Blackbox. We have a studio. It's a really incredible venue, and we've been doing some pretty great work here that our team is really proud to have accomplished over the last couple of years. We are an artist-led project of Cash dedicated to removing barriers between creatives, their work, and their audiences by providing accessible studio, rehearsal, performance, and exhibition space. And just to be clear, all Creative Exchange Fund projects and programs have to take place at the Medium. So the whole Creative Exchange Fund is centered around this physical space and you bringing your magic and talent into this space. Here are the 5 funding opportunities that are available through the Creative Exchange Fund. Producers is for event producers. There's 6 of those awards. The platform is for performance-based artists. There's 2 of those awards. There's the Medium Artist in Residence. There's 6 awards for visual artists. And then the Spectra series is 6 awards for group exhibitions. And lastly, why you are here tonight, the Mixtape Music Series. We have 16 of these awards available at $1,500 each for a total of 36 funded projects. Feel free to drop any questions that come up in the chat. No question is dumb, just as a friendly reminder. Here's a screenshot of our brand new website, themedium.art. And if you go to our website, this little pink finger that's on here, or hand, it's pointing to a translation button. I should have grabbed some water. Sorry, guys. It's pointing to a translation button. So if you need the website translated into Spanish, you just click that and it will translate the whole website into Spanish for you.
Hey,
Hey,
Amber.
Amber. Yeah, go ahead,
Yes.
Um,
John.
your Zoom, your screen share right now is clipping the bottom of the image. Um,
Oh,
yeah, can you try and resize the window a little
Ooh,
bit
now
and
we
make
see
sure
it.
that it's there you go. Perfect. You're
dude.
good.
Perfect.
Were you able to see everything we need to? Should I
I
go back?
think
The
so.
yeah, we were good up to the point where the hand was trying to show where the translate was because you couldn't see the
Gotcha.
language option. There you go.
Let me show you this beautiful building one more time and this great red circle around the Mixtape Music Series. Thank you guys for pointing that out. And then here's the pink hand that I was referring to. There's a small button at the bottom corner of our website, the bottom left-hand corner, to translate the website into Spanish. And at the top, there's a tiny, very top right-hand corner, there's a button that says menu. If you click that, there's a drop down, and CXF is where you want to go. That stands for Creative Exchange Fund. And if you click that, it will take you to a page that has some options for you to click on the series that you're interested in or the funding opportunity. And you can learn all about our funding opportunities there. If you click Mixtape, it'll review some of the things I'm going over tonight as well. So let's jump in. Mixtape Music Series. This is why you're here, and we're so happy that you are here. The Mixtape Music Series is a free, all ages, live music series that funds 16 musicians presenting original work. Each monthly mixtape performance consists of two 45 to 60-minute acts within the Blackbox stage or main gallery. As a reminder, there's 16 of these awards available. Each recipient will receive $1,500, and that's even if you're a band or an individual artist. Everyone, if you are awarded, you will get $1,500. The discipline for this is music, and the available spaces within the medium will be determined by the medium staff, but it will either be the black box, main gallery, or the stage. And I have some photos of that I will show you in just a moment. And then the time frame is rotating monthly, 2 artists or groups per month. So one night a month, the Mixtape Music Series will take over the medium and will feature 2 acts back to back. And we will pair you with those, and I'll talk about that too. Here's the eligibility for the Mixtape Music Series. You must be at least 18 years old to apply. If you have members in your band that are younger than 18, that's okay, just as long as whoever is applying is 18. Practicing artists and groups of artists are eligible to apply. Nonprofit organizations are not eligible for this particular fund. Applicants do not need to be Arkansas residents, but the majority of the funds will be awarded to recipients in Benton, Washington, Madison, Crawford, Carroll, and or Sebastian counties in Arkansas. And if you receive the Mixtape Music Series award this last round, you are not eligible to reapply for this fund, but you're welcome to apply to any of the other funds, just to make it equitable and give other people an opportunity. If you have questions about any of this, feel free to throw it in the chat. Also, you are welcome and invited to screenshot any of these. But remember, we're going to put it online in a couple of days as well. If you go to our website, where I've already mentioned, the medium.art/CXF, you can scroll to the bottom of any of the award funding opportunities, and you can see a list of previous recipients. So we just finished our first year of the Creative Exchange Fund, and this is a really valuable resource for all of you to see sort of who we awarded last year. Sort of you can kind of get a flavor of what the medium is looking for and attracted to. And it's certainly not limited to any of these individuals or genres, but we wanted to illustrate to you all that if you want to do a little research on who was selected before, this is a great resource for you. You can find this at themedium.art/artist archive. In this image too, on the left here, the large bluish purple image, there's that is Moon Song. They were one of the recipients, and this was their performance in the black box. Also, once you get to this page, you can click on these individual images, and it will tell you what their project description was if you need a little inspiration for your application. As a part of this award opportunity, we have a little bit of professional development. The Mixtape Music participants will be offered ongoing artistic and music industry mentorship through community partnerships with leaders in the music ecosystem to equip artists with tools and knowledge around the industry, creativity, and economic sustainability while broadening their network of peers and collaborative partners. That is a giant word salad to say that we are here for you, and we are very interested in connecting you to community members and other members on the CASH team, even those that are not even here tonight. We have a large team at CASH. There's two musicians on this call tonight. Evan and John Wayne Farr are both musicians. They have a deep knowledge of the industry and the creative ecosystem here around music. So this is sort of what we're alluding to with professional development. And if you have other needs, once you're a recipient, we are happy to make connections for you and have these conversations with you. All right, as a part of the Mixtape Music Series, there's a few things that our team can provide for you. And here's a list of it. Again, this is a good opportunity to screenshot if you're curious about what we're going to be doing for you. But we will pair 2 musical acts for one single evening. So once we have all of our selected and awarded recipients, our team will go through and very carefully and consciously pair you with someone that makes sense, or that might be kind of fun and experimental to pair up with someone. But we will select who you will be playing with or sharing the stage with for the evening. We are also going to help schedule and coordinate your setup and your sound check, and you'll have the day before your show to come in and set up and kind of get comfortable in the space. We'll set up the stage and the chairs accordingly, whether or not you need chairs or are interested in having chairs, depending on what it is that you're doing. And then we will assist you with the use of in-house equipment, such as lighting, sound, etc. We'll also provide technical assistance for the evening of your performance and for the sound check the day before. And we'll ensure that each event offers a professional experience for both the performers and audience. We want you to have a great time. Here's just a glimpse of some of the equipment at a high level that we can offer you. We have a portable stage. We usually set this up. Last year, we did all of the Mixtape Music Series, or almost all of them, in the Blackbox. That's not 100% guaranteed this year, depending on how all the other projects sort of shake out. But we have a really great portable stage. We will put that in the room so that you're elevated. We'll have lighting, loudspeakers, microphones, chairs, and tables. And depending on your project and depending on availability, we have a projector and screen that's available upon request. And we also have a baby grand piano and an upright piano that must be requested in advance. And we'll get it tuned for you if you're interested in using that. So if you are selected, please let us know immediately that you're looking to utilize these things, and then we can try to get that secured for you as far in advance as we can. As the musician, you must provide your own instruments and backline instrument amplifiers and audio and visual playback devices, laptops, smartphones, beat machines. Feel free to ask questions in the chat. John Wayne Farr and Evan are really excited to answer any of those questions for you. All right, here is a floor plan of the medium. The spaces that are highlighted in this highlighter yellow are the rooms that I keep referring to: the black box, the main gallery, and the auditorium, stage, and theater. Again, as much as we want to just allow you all to choose where the heck you're going to play, this part will be determined by our staff. And we'll try to keep it all in one location, is what we did last year. It was really, really convenient, and it helped the audience know exactly where to go each time. Here are some photographs of these spaces in use. This is our stage. And actually, now that I'm looking at this, this lighting package was actually brought in, and this is not the lighting package we have here. So maybe I shouldn't have included this one. But you can see the stage in use, fully decked out with equipment that the musicians have brought in. There's 371 seats. It's really beautiful when it's brought to life. Here's another view of the stage. It's really large. And here's a view of the seating arrangement and the types of beautiful people that come into the medium. Here is a glimpse of the Blackbox, which is where we hosted most of our Mixtape Music Series last year. In this image, you can see this was actually our very first Mixtape Music event last year. So this was a crowd that showed up. Here's another view of the Blackbox. It's a really beautiful matte black room with a black ceiling and hardwood floors. It's about 40 foot by 40 foot, roughly square feet or parameter. I'm butchering my words. It's a really great room. Everyone loves this space. And here's one of the mixtape musicians from last year, J. Rolf Garcia, performing his piece. You can see there's a projector screen in the background. These are things we can help you with if you're interested. On occasion, you might get scheduled for the main gallery, and this is what that setup would look like too. So no matter how you slice it, all of our rooms are really incredible, and we'll make sure that they feel really good, really vibey for your show, depending on what you're looking to accomplish. I said at the top of the meeting, but just to reiterate, that the Mixtape Music Series was created in order to offer a free all ages venue for families and teenagers and everyone across the spectrum. So for you, this means that you cannot charge a door fee or a ticket price for people to attend. However, you are allowed to sell merchandise or artwork that's on a table or albums, cassettes, or whatever it is that you might make. And you're allowed to keep 100% of those sales. We're not interested in taking that money from you. So please keep that in mind. You cannot charge a door fee, but we're hoping that $1,500 that you would receive can compensate you for your time. Please blow up the chat with questions if you have them. Okay, here's a little bit about the application. We're going to request the following information from you, and some of you may have already kind of poked around, but we're interested in the lead artist information. If you are a group or a musical group or a band, or you're bringing in additional musicians, one of you has to submit this application and apply, and whoever that is, we call the lead artist. That lead artist is going to be the main person that we correspond with through the duration of your programming. So if we have a question, we're going to go straight to the lead artist. So whoever's applying, make sure that you're the point person for this application. We're going to look for your artist statement or your statement of purpose. Tell us who you are. We're curious about some work samples. Do you have some music you could share? Do you have some images possibly of you performing? That's what we're looking for. If you have any creative achievements of note, we're curious about those. Project information such as the title, description, key collaborators, timeline, and budget. And collaborators can be the other musicians in your band if you have one, or if you're bringing in a partner for the night, or just let us know in your application. There will be an opportunity for you to select your preferred dates for the project, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. And this question right here is really important for you to take note of. How will this project give you the opportunity to take risks and expand your professional or artistic growth? This question comes up a lot, and that is one of the questions that our panelists will look at your application and see how you are taking creative risks. So if you have questions about that, please put it in the chat and we can elaborate more. Here's some additional application information. We're going to look for your social media website, artist statement, who you are, what you do, why you do it, how you do it. That's the sort of information we're looking for. Any relevant experience, creative achievements, accomplishments and milestones, performances, productions within the last 7 years, and then work samples. And here's a little bit of more details on those work samples. You can submit up to 3 work samples. Total of audio and video files cannot exceed 5 minutes. So please don't upload a 10-minute thing. You won't even be able to do that. And this is just good grant application etiquette. You want to get the panelists' attention right away, submit some good sound bites that are going to help you get this. If you have something that you would like for us to take note of, is, let's say you upload a video file of a performance you did, but there's a lot of chatter on the front end. You're able to put in the queue time if it's applicable. Like if you're like, please look at the minute 35-second mark to see the best shot. And then of course the title and the date completed, the venue, your role, the key artist and or partners if applicable. And then with each of the work samples, you can submit 1 to 2 sentence description of what the heck the link is showing us. I am throwing a lot of information out at you, so if you have questions, please throw them in the chat. Proposed project description. Describe in detail your proposed music performance project. Include the title, description of the work, proposed time, duration, and who is involved. All artists are expected to perform at least a 45 to 60-minute set of original music. If you have questions about that little tidbit, please ask questions. We are here and ready to answer them. We'll also be asking you for a timeline for the planning, creation, and production of your proposed music performance, including the date ranges and corresponding details for the key stages of your project. And then describe how your proposed music performance will give you the opportunity to take creative risks and expand artistically. Here is a screen grab from the actual application. And this is what I'm referring to when we say select the dates. We would encourage you to select all of them that you're available, and we will take that information, and if you are selected, you will be given one of those dates. So please be mindful when you're filling out your application and only select the dates that you are actually available or possibly available. On your application, there's also an area for a budget. And I know this is sometimes scary for people to think through. Budgeting is just hard in general. So here's a few things that we're looking for. And you don't have to fill all this out, but we've included the budget just like this. This is another screenshot from the application. This is what it will look like. And you can either fill these lines out, or you can leave some blank. You can put some zeros in here. But most importantly, we want you all to know that where it says artist fees, please pay yourself. This is the whole reason the Creative Exchange Fund was created, so that artists could sustain their livelihoods. So we get that. If most of all of your fees go to artist fees, you already have everything you need, great. But there's also a line items for maybe you need to buy a new amp, or you're interested in purchasing that special guitar to just elevate this experience. That's okay too. Put that in here. If you're needing additional technology, which could be software, some new software that you're interested in playing around with your music. If you have questions about what any of those might look like, let us know. But we're just really looking at how you're looking to spend this money, and we're not totally judging how you're going to spend it. We just want to make sure you're trying to do a feasible project. If someone says, this says at the bottom, total expenses should equal $4,500. My apologies, that number should say $1,500. But please ask questions. if all the money goes to the artists, great. We love to pay you all. All right, the selection criteria. The following is considered when determining awards. Does this project present opportunities for professional artistic growth and risk-taking? Is the project feasible, and does the applicant demonstrate the capacity and skill to achieve what they propose? Does the applicant outline a compelling artistic vision or purpose for their practice in general? And does the project concept align with this artistic vision or purpose? This right here is the rubric that our panelists will be answering these questions based off what you put on your application. So these are really important questions for you to sit with as you're filling out your application. A little bit about our panelists. They will be reviewed by applications are reviewed by 5 separate panels, 1 for each of the Creative Exchange Fund opportunities. Each panel consists of members from the Medium's Advisory Committee, Leadership Council, CASH staff, CASH board members, and representatives from the Tyson Family Foundation. Panelists are experts in at least one artistic discipline. They possess an understanding of the creative communities of Northwest Arkansas and are representative of a variety of communities, experiences, and backgrounds. Please note that in the instance a panelist has applied for one of the Creative Exchange Fund opportunities, they will not be allowed to panel the particular fund that they applied to. Feel free to ask questions about that. So just to be clear, not all musicians will be, your panelists won't be a group of musicians. It'll be a group of visual artists, dancers, some musicians, etc. So when you're applying, know that you're also speaking to people that aren't necessarily musicians. Okay. We are blowing through this. We just have a couple more slides, and then we're going to have some time for questions in the end, which is our favorite part. So hopefully you have some questions ready for us. If you go to our website, themedium.art/CXF, scroll all the way to the bottom, and there's a list of a bunch of frequently asked questions. We tried to get ahead of it and address questions that we heard last year. So please go through, click around on that, spend some time with these questions, and hopefully they can bring you some clarity. I pulled a few questions that I think are relevant and interesting. Can I apply for more than one Creative Exchange Fund? Unfortunately, no. Lead artists should select the fund most closely aligned with the discipline and scope of their proposed project. However, lead artists may participate in additional CXF projects for which they are not listed as the lead artist. So let's say we use this example a lot. If you have a drummer that's in your band and they also are a visual artist, they can apply to be like in the artist residency program. Excuse me. If I received a CXF award last year, am I eligible to apply this year? Yes, as long as you're applying for a different subfund. I'm gonna have to get some water. I'm so sorry. Dahlia, can you read these for just a moment?
Absolutely. I think you left off can I apply again this year? If you received the Mixtape Music Series fund last year, you cannot apply to the Mixtape Music Series again this year. However, we want you to flex your creative muscles in a new fund. So maybe you want to look at producers. Maybe you want to shoot for the $15,000 platform fund. We would love to see the evolution of yourself and your project represented in a different fund. Here's an important question. When will artist funds be distributed? All artist funds will be distributed to every artist at the very beginning of this program. So Amber showed you the date possibilities earlier. Some Mixtape Music Series recipients won't play their concert until June of 2024. However, they will receive their money in September or early October of this year. And the reason we do that is because we want you to have your money. We want you to have your money to buy the things that you need to prepare for this show, to pay yourself for your time that you're investing in that preparation. And also because it's a little bit easier for our accounting department too, and me, just being honest. Okay, Amber, are you ready to take it back?
Yes, thank you. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Thalia. Super appreciate you. Okay, a couple more questions. Do I have to be a resident of the state of Arkansas to apply? You have to be a resident of Arkansas to apply for the platform and the artist residencies. But as far as the producers or the mixtape or Spectra funds, you don't necessarily have to be a resident. What is the work period? This is another great one for Thalia, and she'll probably elaborate on this more during the Q&A time. But the Creative Exchange Fund projects and their associated events will take place during an assigned work period. So like I showed you on the application, whatever you select, you will likely get plugged into one of those dates. But in the chance that 6 of you say you can only do it in May, we're going to have some hard decisions to make. So there's a chance we may circle up with you if you're selected and negotiate that time frame. So please be prepared for that. We just talked about this a little bit, but can the lead artist participate in other CXF projects? Yes, lead artists may be members of other Creative Exchange Fund projects for which they are not listed as a lead artist. So you can't apply to 2 different things with your name on the application, but you can participate in someone else's. Creative Exchange Fund applications close on July 17th at 5 o'clock. And in the meantime, we have some other info sessions coming up. So after you've listened to this one tonight and you're like, I'm still really curious about producers platform or the artist residencies, those sessions are still coming up. So please take note of those and register just like you did for this one. One of the most important things I want to point out is this Saturday, this whole team will be here on site at the Medium from 10:30 to noon to host a tour of the Medium. So even if you've seen the space before, but especially if you've never seen the space before, this is a really great chance to come in, get a feel for how the space flows, see how people enter the space. That might help inform how you sculpt and write your project description when you apply. And we'd love to just like hang out with you all. So please make time to come this Saturday if you're available at 10:30 a.m. downtown Springdale, 214 South Main Street. We'd love for you to register in advance if you're able to. If you don't register, that's okay. Just show up, bring your friends, come out and meet us and see the space. Beginning June 29th, running through July 14th, we will have some one-on-one support, which means you can sign up for a session with one of the team Medium members and you can ask direct questions to us. So if you're like, gosh, I want to, no matter what question you have, just let us know. If it's a technical question about what's possible, if it's a application question about what you should include or not, those one-on-one sessions will be great. And it's a really fantastic resource for you just as a creative, just to talk to someone else in the industry doing the similar work. And then we also have an application workshop. So if you get to the application, you're feeling overwhelmed, we understand it's a lot of information. We'll have a workshop to kind of walk through what that looks like, and you can ask questions there as well. I don't know how you all registered for this info session tonight, but just so you know, if you go to the medium.art/CXF, scroll to the bottom, there's a timeline at the bottom, and you can click there to register for all the upcoming sessions. And last but not least, we're almost, this is my last slide. I just wanted to point out to you all that the Medium is a project of Cash. And on the Cash website, I didn't put the link here, but I'm sure Thalia will throw it in the chat, cashcreate.org. There are resources on this website for artists. If you click resources at the top, you can see there's a bunch of things for you to click on. But the thing I want to point out to you tonight is the directory. This is a free resource for creatives in Northwest Arkansas to go in and create a profile of yourself. It's really easy. It's really simple. Just go in, throw an image in there of yourself, say, I'm a musician, this is what I do, I'm available for gigs or whatever. When people approach Cash asking for particular kinds of artistic mediums or people or talent, we send them over to the directory and ask them to first search the directory to see if they can find who they're looking for. So this is just a free resource for you. So take a moment tonight, kind of, you can prime the pump for your application writing skills and just get in there and add a profile for yourself. And that is all that I have. And we are now open and available for questions. I want to point out, if you're not asking questions tonight, that's okay. You can email us at cxf@cashcreate.org. Please follow us on Instagram at @themedium_art. Myself and Cynthia are on that Instagram, so that's who you'd be corresponding with. So hit us up there if you have questions as well. I'm going to mute myself and turn it over to anyone. Thalia can fill us in on any questions people might have asked. Please take a moment to throw your questions in the chat, DM someone your questions, or we can just fill up airtime and talk about our own questions. Thank you all for being here and listening tonight.
Yeah, and thanks for staying with us through that crazy ride for a minute. That was interesting. I wonder if that'll be in the recording that's online. Check back for that, everybody. We got some great questions in the chat. I tried to answer every one of them directly. I think it's important to pull up a chair to how this actually plays out if you are selected. As Amber mentioned, on the application form, you'll see all of those dates with just radio buttons beside them. We highly encourage you to select as many of those dates that you think you will be available. I know it's hard, like nobody knows if they're going to be available May 17th, 2024. I don't know. But the more you select, the easier my job is and John's job is, because we have to weave together all of these mixtape projects within all of the other Creative Exchange Fund projects, within all of the external events, which are essentially not CXF events at the Medium. So this is like, once people are selected, John and I lock ourselves in a room and literally do calculus to get everybody on the calendar. So the more options you give us, the more we'll like you. Just kidding. We like you anyway, but it does make our jobs easier. But you will be locked into that date. There's no moving. Once the date is assigned, there's no moving around the dates because, again, the calculus problem would, space and time would collapse on itself. So unless there, well, no, you just don't. You don't get to move the date. And you also don't get to move your space. We will assign that based on all those other projects and events going on around you. I did get an interesting question in the chat about how the two artist thing worked. And I just want to be clear on that. We're not asking you to play together, although that would be cool. That could be like an evolution of a project for CXF 2425.
It actually has happened, Talia.
Yeah.
There was an instance. So.
Are you talking about the first one? that
No,
the
well,
collab?
that's actually one where they had met and they met the day of setup and they're like, "Oh, I'd love to jam with you on this song." But then also, Solo and Earl Hazard ended up actually they were part of each other's sets. I think they were like Earl Hazard was part of Solo's set as well. So
Yeah, and we generally like we'll let you know leading up to your date who you are partnered with. And like John said, I believe those two artists just reached out to each other and kind of worked out a thing, and that was rad. Um, but generally speaking, we're asking one artist to play one set, then we have a little break, and then the next artist plays the next set. Um, I got another message, and Amber, I'm going to ask you to unmute and use your voice again one more time. But the question is just what are all of the qualifications to be selected? Can we just briefly just touch on those things one more time?
Is it this slide?
Yes.
Or there's also eligibility. So we may need to get clarification on that. We'll start here.
Okay. Yeah, I think this person is talking about selection. So you're eligible. How do you get selected?
So does the project present opportunities for artistic growth and risk taking? Is the project feasible? And does the applicant outline a compelling artistic vision and purpose? Really quickly, does the project present opportunities for artistic growth and risk taking? What we really mean by this is if you're, I'm going to use a reggae band, for example. It looks like we lost Evan, but he used to be or is a reggae musician. So if you're a reggae musician, you're used to playing gigs all over Northwest Arkansas and you do the same 10 songs everywhere you go. No judgment. That's okay if that's working for you. But for the Creative Exchange Fund, we want to know how you're going to expand on that. Are you going to do something different? Are you going to do the same 10 songs that you've been doing? How are you taking a creative risk? If you're going to play the same 10 songs, that's cool too. Maybe you can reposition that to show us and express how you're going to take a risk, creative risk that night. Maybe you're going to try some new lyrics. Maybe you're going to mix a couple of those songs together. Maybe you're going to bring in a partner that you've been wanting to collaborate with, and they're going to play the saxophone while you do it. And that's how you're going to expand yourself. That's really what we're looking for with risk taking, creative risk taking. And then feasibility is really important too. What we've learned last year is that grant applications are hard in general, no matter how easy we try to make it. It's just hard and it's a lot of work. You're putting yourself out there, and people sometimes are like, I'm going to bring the entire moon into this session and it's going to, I don't know, I can't make stuff up on the fly very well, but we just want to know, is it feasible? Is it something realistic that you can bring into the medium and actually pull off from start to finish? So we want you to take a creative risk, but we also want you to be reasonable, and we want your project to be feasible and that keeps our team sane and you sane. At the end of the night, we just want you to feel good and have a great performance and hopefully expand your audience. John, do you have something to say?
yeah, I will say from a risk-taking standpoint, like we've had some people utilize this fund to start up their merch line and sell it at the show. Like that's a thing they've done. Like that's a risk they haven't been able to take because they haven't had the funds to try and do something like that. We've had some people also use this to like go back into the studio and record a song they've been sitting on. Like it's just those are things like you might not have the funds to do it, but it's or maybe to try a new genre of music as well. Like we've seen that as well. Like they don't typically do this setup within their band, or they don't, we've had musicians come in and be like, I'm working actually with a visual artist to, have some type of visual that goes along with my music. So, those are just some examples of some other risk that we've seen throughout this fund in the past year. But yeah, I mean, it goes beyond that, obviously, too. So just wanted to add that in.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. I'm gonna address this last bullet point, and then John, I see you've got some stuff in the chat we can talk about too in just a minute. The final thing is, does the applicant outline a compelling artistic vision or purpose for their practice in general? Really, we just want you to tell us who you are. Are you a hip hop artist, but you're trying to do something new? Maybe you're sick of hip hop and you're trying to go into more R&B. I mean, who knows? It could really, we're just curious who you are, what your artistic vision is for your musical practice, and how you're going to use this creative exchange fund as an opportunity to sort of expand yourself artistically. Hopefully that clarifies for whomever was asking that. Please send Thalia another DM if that wasn't clear, and she can keep poking at it.
Yeah, and I'm going to pipe in with a couple of more questions that are hitting the chat, and I apologize for the loud lawnmower noises that are coming from the windows next to me. I can't do anything about that. Here's a really practical question, and I'm going to tag John on this. What is the changeover time frame between bands, and will musicians have a staging area? John?
So we try and minimize or try and cap changeover time around like 15 minutes. There is a pre-staging area. That room is pretty large depending on the musicians that are coming in. We've seen anywhere from a small like 8x8 stage be enough, depending on the musicians that are scheduled for that night. But we've also had we've had events where we've used like an 8x16 stage. And so like in that room, that does leave room on the wings where we can set up like pipe and drape, as you saw in some of those videos or in some of those photos earlier, where we you can have like hide instruments there, but also just off the black box is a hallway, and that's also served as a staging area. So to kind of answer the question, summarize, try and keep it between 10 to 15 minutes on changer. We'll be there, like we said early on, we'll be there to help with assisting with that, moving things in, moving things out. And typically this is why we like to also schedule like a sound check time where we have an overlap between the two musicians booked for the night, so we can get an idea of the stage layout and make sure we're planning accordingly for that. Think that answered that. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna down the chat as well.
I think that covered it too. I also saw a question about, we had a slide that had a minimum set time, which we say about 30 minutes. We'd like to, like 45 minutes is the sweet spot for how long we want you to play. You could go up to an hour, but 45 minutes is like the bullseye.
I realized too, JJ, I'm sorry. I usually have a slide in here. I'm like looking for the slide that has where you actually apply. Thalia put it in the chat, but you can also just go to the medium.art/CXF. And then click on the fund that you want to apply to, and there will be an apply now button. I apologize for not having a slide that illustrates that.
And you're gonna get that link in follow-up emails too, with like neon arrows pointing at it. We won't let you miss it.
Did we get all of Veronica's questions?
I think so. I think I covered them. Veronica, if we didn't get all of your questions, please send me a DM or just hop in the chat with everybody and be like, no, you didn't answer all my questions. Here's more things I want to know. We love that. We love questions.
Well, we have about 3 minutes left. If you have other questions, please take advantage of us all being here. We are eager to answer your questions. And I've said this on other slides. Oh, sorry, Thalia, I see you're about to talk. I'll just say this really quickly. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
You jump in.
I was just going to mention that, Amber said that we are all working artists or representing different fields. Most of the cash and medium staff on this call has applied for grants before. Like we know how hard it can be. I just want to assure you all, this is one of the easiest grant applications you will ever see. And we did that purposefully. It shouldn't be hard to get money to fund your practice. We trust you. So this is a really, really easy entry point application. And we're going to have the application workshop coming up where you can get help on specific questions. And then also in that, I just want to mention too, that with a lot of grants come requirements like the dreaded grant report. We don't ask you to do that. All we require of you is to do your thing, come play your set. And then at the end of the program, we're going to send you a survey. And we ask that you fill it out. That's the only requirements of this program. Amber, what were you going to say?
I don't even remember. This doesn't matter. But I did see Veronica just put another really awesome question in the chat that maybe we can end on that note.
I'll jump in.
Yeah, please do, John.
We had some people do some set design. One of our first mixtape artists actually decided to build a custom set in which was part of his performance. That was super sick. It had a bunch of hanging eyeballs from it, like fake eyeballs, just to be clear. That just got recorded. And also, I will say, I think the merch part, and I'm just gonna plug this because I know a few artists who actually did like launch merch through the Mixtape Fund, and they sold it at the show. And just to say, I bought, if an artist brought merch to the show, I bought a piece of something from everyone. So I now have, I think I got 12 shirts throughout the last fund. Yeah. So if you get in, bring merch, because I will shell out money for merch any day for a good musician shirt. So yeah. Set eyeballs and merch is just like, it's kind of hard, like between those two.
And that is a beautiful bow on the Mixtape Music Series and the Medium. We get weird over here. Eyeballs and merch. Yes.
And I want to point out, I got a direct message about the application process. We have, just as a friendly reminder, we have an application workshop coming up on June 28th. I know it's so much to try to understand, and this is so much information. So use these opportunities to come and meet the team, interact with us, ask questions so that you can walk into that application feeling really confident about what you're presenting, because we want you to get this. We want all of you on here to be able to come through here and try your cool projects. So please attend that application workshop if you're able. If you go to the website, themedium.art/CXF, click on the fund. Here, I'm going to pull back the slide really quickly. Click on the fund that you're interested in. So if Mixtape Music is where you want to land, click that right there on the medium.art/CXF, and it will take you to the web page that has the Apply Now button. Click that. It'll take you to the application for you to fill out. Hopefully that clarifies. And Thalia threw a big fat juicy link in the chat to register for all the upcoming info sessions. Even if you're a musician and you're like, this is the one I want to do. Producers is another cool one to come to. We had some musicians apply to producers last year. You get $2,500 to throw a cool event. So we had some musicians throw some concerts, and they brought in some additional people and did some interesting work that way too. So don't limit yourself to this one. Maybe walk around all the rest of these too and see which one feels the best for you. Okay, I think we're at time. We want to honor everyone's time. If we did not get to your questions, or if you start to think of questions afterwards, here's our email. Find us on Instagram. Please DM us on Instagram. We're there to help you. Send us an email. We're here for you. And beginning June 29th, one-on-one sessions. You can sign up for one of those. You get 20 minutes And you can submit your questions in advance so we can walk in really prepared for that and really make the best of that 20 minutes with you. So use that to your advantage as well. All right. We love you all. DJ JWP, take us out. Thank you so much for being here. We're proud of you for taking the time to be here on this Wednesday evening. And we hope to see your application. We hope to see you Saturday at the in-person tour.